Alright, so this is as an example of adversity, this is a kind of dirty heroin story. um, and it takes place in Seattle, Christmas Eve, Christmas time. And at the time, me and two friends who I was kind of in business with, we were staying at a mutual friend's place while he was gone to Saudi Arabia to see family and friends for, I think, a month and a half. What he was doing leaving his apartment to three people he knew were junkies is odd, but so for a month and a half we did our racket. At the time I was a street painter, probably the most aggressive street painter ever. At the time I would like guilt people into, you know, throwing down some money for the services I provided. But so we had our month and a half of working and scamming and getting by, and then our friend came home from Saudi Arabia, and while he was gone, a friend of his that he'd known from childhood died of a heroin overdose. So he was coming back not really in a mood to be sharing his space with three addicts. So, quite understandably, he kicked us out, and you know, from our junky minds, all we could think is, you know, well, that bastard kicking us out. So, as it does in Seattle, it was raining buckets, and we went and found a church that we, during another homeless stint we'd found was nice to sleep on the side of. So we, the three of us, got our collection of cardboard, set down our bed for the night, and you know, we tried to make the best of it and went to sleep. And I remember having this dream where I was drowning, and then waking up and I was drowning. I was half submerged in this icy puddle of water that all three of us were now sleeping in, but we were out of it and didn't realize what we were sleeping in. So, this is gonna get grim, but so I woke the other two up, and it plays in my mind like a scene in some horrible movie. We're like desperately shaking each other. Wake up! We gotta get out of here. And one of us wouldn't budge. Like, we gotta get out of here. We're gonna die out here. No, no, no. So me and my friend, we start making our way down the alleyways, just helping each other along. And I was vomiting every other block that we'd go down. And we made it over to a friend's house that we knew, who let us in, let us each take showers. He gave us dry clothes. And because he, this is kind of funny, because he can't sleep with other people in the room, he had us sleep in the hallway, which, you know, any place we were grateful for. So we both took up for the night in these little chairs that were out in the hallway, and I slept the sleep of the dead. And the next morning, we're being shooken by his neighbor, who kind of knew us, so he wasn't startled, but he wasn't too pleased to have us in his hallway all the same. So he woke us up with like a plate of 2 cookies each. It was really kind of sweet. And be on your way, you little junkies. And so we took off, and we were walking down the street, and it's like a row of frat houses that we were walking down. So we've just got like these drunken shouts, insults coming at us. Hey, you little faggots, and all this stuff. Just keep walking. And I had this pain in my leg, and I finally reached into my pocket and realized that a syringe that I had left in my pocket that night had opened and was now stuck in my leg. And so I pulled this thing out, and that was that's kind of where it ends, and then it goes into another story where we're trying to score for the to get well. But the real gloomy part of that story is we never saw the other friend again. I always wonder what happened to him. To me, it's kind of a curiosity. If he got some sense, or if he just stayed there.
Is there any philosophy that you try to put out in your paintings, or anything other than?
Yeah.
Or does it change, or?
I think as a, it's not always there, but I think as a core philosophy or message that I seem to always want to get across in my work is just the idea of rising above one's handed circumstances, which I think that's just the most universal thing I could say. Like, everyone has problems, and people generally absorb themselves in their problems instead of looking out around them. So I guess just I figured some of these scenarios people could quickly identify with, like something like a painting of mine, Happy Home. It's basically a family that has just lost their home. The title I took from a Residents song, The Residents.
What is this?
This is The Residents. Bay Area based band. They've been around since the Stone Age, and they're an anonymous band, I guess you could say. They don't go on stage with their identities on display. Happy Home. The title is from a song called Happy Home. The line is, people must be left alone unless they have a happy home, which I always liked. It basically means people can't be left alone. And it was for a New Orleans relief kind of benefit that ended up not happening, but I did the painting anyways. And it just seemed to me something that the person with the least art background could look at, and they don't need to know a lot about art and how you look at art to be able to see, oh, these people lost their house and home, and identify with that. So I guess the idea of hope is what I'm trying to keep behind these paintings, even if some of them aren't necessarily, some of them are just portraits.